Hello, Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Oops, I think I started talking too soon. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas. Today's date, it's December 22nd, 2020. It's 6:42 a.m. in the morning. I just let me move these peanuts and grapes. Let me have a grape. That'd be good for me. Ooh, good. I was just woke up a while ago. Thought, what should I do? This is one of them. Two of these behind me on this shelf. Both of these are just catch-alls for things I throw in here. And I thought, I'm going to go through them. So there's some bolts, screws, and hex wrenches and things like this, because I have, as you know, if you've been watching my videos, if you haven't, shame on you. But several of you said, well, you just buy chairs that are too cheap. Well, I buy what I can afford, but then I know you're right. If I spent $600 for a chair, maybe I wouldn't have to buy a chair every year or two. Or if I didn't weigh 240 pounds, maybe I wouldn't. Anyway, so I always have a bunch of, I'm always afraid to throw these away, you know, there's already one in there. Here's another one. We'll probably run across more. I just thought I would, I was going to go through this, and I thought, I'll make a video. Why not? You don't have anything else to do. You don't have anything more important to do, unless you're like me. And you should be doing this. Well, and two, I was just getting ready to watch a video. And then I was going to use AC/DC. Oh my God, to record it. And I was going to have my video over here and not have it embedded in, and then I could, but AC/DC just started crashing on me. When it wasn't trying to do anything fancy, it just, anyway, but I was just getting ready to watch a video on, because I purchased, we may run across the other one. I don't think, I'm not sure if this is the original one. These YubiKey or Yubi, whatever they're, Yubi, I guess. I don't know. It's a YubiKey. And you put it in, it's a USB. You put it in your computer. And then this one, I believe this is the one, to get access to your computer, instead of typing in a password or whatever, you just put your finger on it, and it lets you in. So since I see that little round thing, I think this is the one. I think I remember it. And this baby, they turn on the, I don't think there's a, I don't know which model. That's, you know, I bought like sort of the beginning one. And then later on they upgraded, they come out with, and so I wasn't even using the original one, but I better get the current one, which may be in one of these places. I don't need this. I don't, oh, yeah. This goes into HDMI on your computer, but it lets you plug in one of the VGA things for, I've got a whole bunch of, I have cables with one end that has who knows what on what, HDMI, and then the cable runs over and has, and it, where you can plug it, all that kind of stuff in it. Let's see, a microphone or a for a stand. That will work on that stand probably. Maybe I'll leave that out. And well, I'm not routing a cable, or there is a cable coming out there. Yeah, it's going down. That's the microphone there. Maybe I'll leave that out for a minute. Okay, another USB, and it looks like it's blue or green in there, so it must be 3.0. Maybe it'll tell me on here. Except I can't read upside down. I have trouble reading right side up. USB 3.0, 64 megabytes of memory. Maybe I'll put that there temporarily. AUKEY key. Okay, that's a micro. Let's see. Did I show you that other one? This is a micro USB or a mini USB, and a USB 3.0. I'm not sure. I should have a cable. I do have cables running here like crazy. USB is great, or it was great. Okay, yeah, that. Yeah, that doesn't want to. Maybe, yeah. Well, this for some reason, man. Yeah, this was one. Maybe I'll just leave that on there. My God, that thing doesn't want to come off. Here is a USB 3.0. I have two of these. 64 gigabyte. It's a scan disk. And I have bought, well, we all have, haven't we? Here's a screw. Here's another screw. Here's another screw. I'm just screwing all day long. Here's some little screws. Oh, excuse me. This broke off of something. I have no idea what it broke off, but I can see that it, not sure what it was. But maybe I can hit the trash from here. Then I'll decide, then I'll find, yeah. I should not have been in basketball. Well, I wasn't in basketball. I should never have been in basketball. Tomorrow, the case for my Motorola stylus. This is the Motorola Power cell phone with a case on it, of course. And tomorrow a case will come, but it is coming for, but my Motorola stylus will not be here till after, they tell me after the first of the year. Nail clippers, probably that should be on top. Okay, some more adapters. And this screwed into something. I have a feeling I'll never, man, I have so many audio cables. This is, like an adapter for an audio cable where you can screw something onto the, let's see if this fits. No, but anyway. Well, I know what these are. These are little things to go, when you build a, one of these chairs, there's these things that go, that cover up the screws so somebody can't, I'm just going to throw these away. I wish I had, like an extra room and I could have a workbench in there with my soldering iron, everything hooked up, and it would be, I spend all my time digging through boxes to find things. Oh, here. Oh, this is pretty, isn't it? I don't know what you're seeing. let me pull that up. So I'm gonna just leave that up for a little bit. There, that's showing. I'm not sure if it's upside down or right side up. Okay, this is a Cruiser. I think it says Cruiser Blade 32 gigabyte. Scan disk. Let me put that here. Oh man. Too bad I couldn't have a garage sale. This is a protector for some cable. I might put this with the throwaway stuff. I think this was used somehow for getting some card out of some device or something. I'll put it back in the dish. Okay. Scan disk. Man, they got a lot of money from me, didn't they? Scan disk. USB. See if I can read this. Made in China. SD. I think it says, surely not. Yeah, maybe so. I think it's 40 something megabits. I mean, 40, and I think there's a couple other numbers there. You know, there might be something on some of these. Maybe all my porn is on there. Okay, here's another. Wouldn't it be fascinating if somebody has invented a thing, every time I hold up one of these things, you could read the date off of it, and I'd be sitting here and you people would be laughing yourself silly. Let's see, scan disk. USB. I think it says USB 3 something. Okay, the other side will give me more information. Scan disk, Ultra, USB 3.0, 64 gigabyte. I guess I need some type of little adapter that plugs into. I probably have something like that. I do. I could just plug each one of those things in. They'd all show up as independent drives or something. There's my Fisher Space Pen. Why was it in there? Did I run out of fillers for it, or? Oh, let's see if it writes. It writes. I'll leave that out. My Fisher Space Pen. This one's not engraved, so this is the one that my oldest daughter and my son-in-law got me. I was making I think I made a YouTube video or something, and I said, oh, my Fisher Space Pen broke or something like that. And they sent me one from Amazon. Okay, here's a 2 gigabyte SD card. 2 gigabyte SD card. Gigabyte, not megabyte. That's good. Here's a scan disk, 128 megabytes. Okay. Let me move this down a little bit. Hopefully it's not covering up my real video. Okay, okay, here's a SD adapter for micro SD, and I see that it has nothing plugged, it's where you would plug in. Let me hold it up there. And on the end, if I had a micro SD, did I have one? Let me throw this Kleenex away. Best waste paper basket again. Oh, well, no. Okay, here is a SIM card for Mint. I was using them a while, you know, and I switched to Google Fi. But actually, Mint was really inexpensive, and it worked. Cell phone thing worked for me, and I'm paying more for Google Fi. I don't even know why I really went to it, except, well, I guess it was a good thing because that's where the other day here's another SIM card. Or is it? Or is this what goes into a... Yeah, I think this might be what goes into the... Is this a Samsung? Let's see. Maybe let me hold this up here. Maybe you can see that better than... Let me figure out if I can king something. Can you hear the trash truck that comes just about maybe every other day or something? You know, it's 7 a.m. in the morning. They come and, man, they're, of course, they have to be loud. They're picking up those gigantic trash containers. Okay, I think this is a micro. Okay, I think this actually goes into this one that I showed you. Yes, it fits in there. So what in the hell did I upgrade it to? Let's see if I can pull it out and read it again. Ouch. Let's see. Is this upside down or right side up? It's, well, that tells me I can't see it if it's well, I'll just stick it in there because it's not doing any good outside of this. Okay. A penny saved is a penny earned. A nickel. Some kind of a connector. A little tiny antenna, undoubtedly for a Wi-Fi device that I have around here. I have a bunch of them around here someplace. A big magic marker, or not a magic marker. I gotta make sure I don't. It's a permanent marker. Maybe I better leave that out for right now. Little tiny tripod. Oops. Little tiny tripod. I think I just showed you this, right? And I laid it back down. A little tiny tie, wire tie. Okay, I'm not sure what this is. Some type of a thing for tightening down, some tripod or something like that. A key ring. Nice little tiny screwdriver, and comes off, and you have Phillips on the one end, and you have a regular on the other. Right? Probably shouldn't be in there. Yeah. Where am I going to put it? Here's the card that the Mint thing goes on. Of course, this Mint thing is already, I think, programmed for Mint service, and okay. I don't think I'd go back to Mint. Well, I don't know. Have you ever heard of software-defined radio? Pretty neat. I bought a really cheap, I mean, this thing was unbelievably cheap. Software-defined radio plugs into the USB on your computer. I think this is like maybe 20 bucks, maybe 25. And RTLSDR.com. Okay, it's R. Okay, we can do that. Hey, I forgot we can actually do that. RTL dot, no, not dot, but I did it right anyway. .com. Oh, wow. Wow. They have some, I got something they have super cheap. They're selling some fantastically expensive stuff now. Let's see, products, software. Let's see, products here. Okay, I think they've gone out. It looks like they've gone out of. I guess they decided that why sell these for. Okay, well, I should show this, I guess, anyway. I already played with it for a little bit. On the other end here is where you can hook up an antenna. If I remember correct, and I think I have, this might be a different one. I wonder what would happen if I plug this in right now. Of course, there's no software installed. But for $30, but I had difficulty. Well, I didn't have a good antenna. And I live in an apartment. I can't put an outside antenna up, whatever. But, made in China. As you know, if I can ever come up with the money, I want to go. I want to switch over to Apple after all these years. And I've had computers a long time. Oh, a long time. And now I'm ready to, and I never had an Apple computer. And I want to, I want to go to Apple because of their new devices, and here is, I have no idea what, it doesn't say, here's a USB. I'm afraid actually to plug anything in while I'm making this video. It might shut off my, okay, this one is, these mugs are, I love these mugs, but man, with my arthritis, even without stuff being in here, it hurts. So, okay. Oh, these are some USB 3.0 to USB adapters. I'm using one someplace. So this goes from, you know, like a regular USB 3 to a USB Type-C adapter. USB 3.0 to a it says Type-C adapter, so is a Type-C, I don't know if that's mini or micro, or that's the problem. And when I do go to an Apple device, I want to go to something. I don't want to go to something that's using, what is it? Their old thing, but it wasn't called Serial. What was it called? Anyway, okay. Oops. I'll just put that there. Okay, I can throw this away. I wanted to, well, I haven't received one yet actually, but I can throw it away. This is for my old pacemaker. And I don't believe I got one. I'm supposed to get a replacement card through the mail for my, I'm going to throw it away anyway, because I don't have this pacemaker in me. Okay. Little tiny screws. Little tiny, I have no idea what that is. I think it's like a jumper that goes on maybe a hard drive or something. I'm never going to find where it goes. I probably don't own what it, some type of rings. Ooh, a real nice soft rag for wiping off my monitor or something. Came with something I got, I'm sure, from, because I have a ton of those things. I actually went through and through, not these rags away, but the little tiny boxes that, a case, more like a case. And I just don't have room in this place. I just threw a bunch of them away. I hated to do it, but like have I mentioned that? Ooh, the volume looks like it's really high on this. Where's my? Yeah, I'm going to take this down a notch. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll leave it there. Okay, this is a USB jump drive, they call it, and it's 256 megabytes. This is a nice little, I haven't needed yet. It's a USB in, USB out. But you can do this with it, you know. In case something, like if you have some type of a situation where you, you know, you have something up against something, or you need to do something. Maybe I'll leave that out for a little bit. I don't think I need it, but tune in to tomorrow's video for a chair, SD cards. Its envelope is sealed. No, I guess it's open down here. There's one thing in there, and it's a screw. Well, maybe I'll put my little tiny SD cards in here. The little tiny, because it says SD on it. A screw. Oh, I think, yeah. This is a stylus. And it's a CISCLO, and I do have, remember I have a, it's a stylus, and I remember using it on something. For some things I had to push this button, and for some things I didn't. Oh, so it must be chargeable. There's a way you can charge this up. So I'll leave that out and charge it up. I think this will work. Of course, I'm going to want to use, when I get my new cell phone that works with a stylus. I wonder if I could use this for any purpose. My daughter had these printed up for her business. I think I need to leave these out for a while, because I can find some things to, like I have one over there, a bigger one that the whole thing, the doors on the cabinet will come open. So I put that between the two handles, and it keeps the door from opening up. got a way to go. Weights for my Logitech G mouse. Let's see, where does this open up from? Okay. Okay. Okay, this is my Logitech G mouse. And these are weights for it, but I don't see any way to put the weights in. I wonder if there is more than one. Oops, what did I just do? Yeah, I think I have more than one type G. This maybe should be in the box wherever the other mouse is. I'll leave that up now for my desk now. There's a disaster now. More of these 3.0. No, or did I leave that out? I don't know. Blimey. What in the world is going on here? Oh. I could use that for measuring. Quite often, and when I tend to order from Amazon, okay, they show you a picture or whatever, and I get something. I made a video back years and years ago. I ordered I think it was a cell phone. Was it a cell phone? I think so. Anyway, whatever, the thing came and I said, you know, damn, that's too small. And I ordered another one, came the exact same size. I didn't measure them, didn't look at the measurement. Okay, what's this? Data Traveler, ooh, nice name, G4. Is this scan disk again? Nope. I don't think so. USB 3.0. If I hooked up one of my things where I can plug things in that are, you know, whatever, a 3.0 thing, if I did that, I would, here's another one of those HDMI to VGA converters. I don't think I'm ever going to use those. Now, let's see. Okay, I'm just going to dump it now. Okay, I can leave the rest of that stuff in there, I think. More of my daughter's advertising things for her business. I don't know why I keep that. A screw. I wish I could do I really admire those performers who do voices, you know, like on The Simpsons and all those type of stuff, that to be able to make a living doing that, and to also be able to I couldn't do it, but if I was able to do it for a little bit, I think what would happen is I would come out of it, you know, and if they're using that voice for a movie or a thing, they want you to go into it, and let's see, I have no idea what this is. It might be a Wi-Fi. Might be because it says, I don't know. An adapter for an antenna. A screw. I'll spend hours or days looking for something like this that I need. You know, like I know I have a hex wrench for whatever. Here's a 32 gigabyte thing. 32 gigabyte. And what is this? CSR 4.0 Bluetooth. I don't need it, but it's a Bluetooth adapter. I almost never use Bluetooth. Let me think. Well, the heart monitor thing here that works is not running 24 hours. It's, you know, running all the time for my heart. It uses Bluetooth. So yeah, I guess I do use Bluetooth more than I know. I don't need Bluetooth. Well, I don't need it now. Okay, here's another little SIM card for I don't know who. It's, you know, it's punched out of the card. It's punched out of the card. Maybe it's upside down. No, it's not. I can't tell the logo. Anyway, I'm planning on staying with Google Fi. Okay, I'm done. I'm planning on staying with Google Fi, even though it's a little bit expensive, more expensive than Mint Mobile. I do recommend, in fact, I have it wouldn't help me at all, but I have a link that if you use Link Mobile, or if you use the link, you get a discount, and I get whatever discount, I forget what it was, $10 off, or what, a free month or something, whatever it was, if I were signed up with Mint, which they still, I think, have me signed up. But I do recommend, that's the problem though. Okay, maybe I don't recommend them, because I was signed up for them, Mint Mobile, and then I went with Google Fi. So for the first time, in the past, I've always just, give me a new phone number, you know. And I think my family gets kind of tired of me, because I just don't want to go through the transfer thing. But I thought, okay, this time I'm going to transfer the number, and I won't have to notify my family that I have a new cell phone number. And so I got the card for Google Fi, put it in, and it needed a release code or something from these people to transfer the number over. So I contacted them, Mint, and you know, they use other, I don't think they have any of their own stuff. I don't think they do. They're using other people's services when you sign up, I believe. And so, but anyway, I mean, everything I saw, I went to their site, of course, first. You know, I searched their site high and low, nothing. So then I called them on the phone, and I forget which company. They said, oh, well, no, you're not signed up with us. You're signed up with Sprint. I said, no, I've been paying you for months. I'm signed up for you. And that person apparently didn't understand that, depending, I guess, on what area you're in, they'll sign you up. The mint, so you'll pay the mint rates instead of, or not, or you'll pay the mint rate instead of whoever they signed you up with, or whoever they're using. And finally, I just said, okay, never mind, and I just got off the phone. But then I used Google Wi-Fi login, where I already put the SIM in, and then finally, after I rebooted my thing, finally it came up, and they didn't have a number for me, but I called the guy, and right away, I said, explain the situation. He said, oh, okay, no problem. He said, just take your phone and go over and, punch a couple things, on the Google Fi site. And then he says, do you see that number there? And of course, I never know what my phone number is. And he says, that's your number. It's asking you, do you want that number? And if you just hit, I said, do I go to the next? No, just hit that number. I hit the number, bang, I had, so. Okay, I guess I don't need to see, got to put all this, I'm going to put all this crap right back where it came, right back where it came from. Okay, let's go and do CNN, see what the news is, and wow, I'm sorry I came over here. Trump threatens 30 days of reign of destruction on his way out of office. The current president's anti-democratic behavior since the election is validating the fears of critics who worried about his unchained behavior in his second term. Says here, analyst, Pentagon anxiety rises as officers wait for Trump's next unpredictable move. The next headline says, this is not a drill. Berman breaks down actions Trump is considering. Next headline is, some White House advisors fear Trump's final days in office. Of course, it's not going to happen. It's too bad that what they should do. You're not, if you're a Trumper, then you're not going to agree with me on this or whatever. It's too bad that the Republican senators now, what they see, what the situation is. This would be a godsend for, Vice President Pence. But it's too bad that the Republicans in the Senate just don't tell the tell Pelosi, send over an impeachment thing. Don't go to all the trouble of any hearings. You can send over the old one. Send it back. You can send over the old one, or you can just draw up a piece of paper that says, after you vote, in the House of, Representatives impeaches President Trump. Just send it over. Doesn't have to be anything on, just send it over to the Senate, and then the Senate could just vote. The Republicans voting with the Democrats, and Trump would be removed from office immediately. He would not get a pension. He would not be eligible to hold federal office. I'm not sure if he'd get Secret Service protection. I think he would get, and we wouldn't want anyway to, throw the guy out on the street and then have somebody come and beat him, to death. But that could happen, it couldn't happen, but that's what should happen. Or, which wouldn't happen either. Well, none of this would happen. But the man is dangerous because of his mental condition. And the cabinet his cabinet could meet, but he's deranged, so if his cabinet decided to meet and vote that he was not competent, and remove him, or I think he might stay still president, but the vice president would step in until the president was competent or whatever. The best thing would be, which isn't going to ever happen, the best thing would just be if the Republican senators would just get together and say, okay, just call Pelosi up, tell her send over. You can write it out in longhand, just send over, after the vote. President is impeached, send it over to us and we will vote yes on impeachment, and he will be escorted out of the White House, and Vice President Pence for 30 days will be, Trump would lose his $220,000 pension and all those perks that an ex-president gets. Vice President Pence would go down in history as the next president of the United States for, 20 days or something like that. It's too bad, I can turn off this light here. It's too bad that we can't, we see now for the last 4 years, maybe even before that we've seen, but for these 4 years we've seen, okay, this, maybe Trump could go down in history as showing us, giving us an example of what needs to be changed, and maybe we could change it, but I don't think we could, because the Republicans would see it as, but I mean, the Supreme Court, is not going to rule that the President of the United States can pardon himself. It just goes against jurisprudence and everything. That's not going to happen. Even with him, they didn't exactly pack the Supreme Court, but putting 3 people on the Supreme Court. But what we should do now is looking at the things that, would be start making changes. But the Republicans would, they would look like, okay, well, we should make like the Electoral College. It should be, which it does, goes by votes, but then instead of having it, should just be basically automatically, You shouldn't have to have these electors who are voted, they just met, and there was some concern that maybe the, electoral people would, screw. They haven't in the past, I don't believe. So, but that should be changed. That should be easily changed, except it's going to need, I guess, a constitutional amendment, which is hard to do. And most of state governments are Republican. So the legislatures there would have to vote, and they would look at it like, oh, it's just communist, liberal Democrats are trying to make sure, that. But what they should just do is fix the damned electoral system. So when the vote, there's. Then of course the other thing, which I think, and of course there's smart people have to study this and figure this all out. But we have the elections in November, but then the new, president and vice president and everything don't take office until January 20th. And now that we see what can happen, I mean, there's, Trump could give orders to the military to, I don't even want to say what he could try to do. I don't know what they would do. The thing I was going to say that he could do, I don't want to say it because he is mentally ill. But, the military have sworn an oath, and the president and senators and everybody else they don't swear an oath to the President of the United States. It wasn't like the Third Reich with Hitler, requiring all of them to hold onto the flag and swear an oath to the Fuhrer. That our system doesn't work there. All these people who are taking oaths, it's to the Constitution of the United States. It's not to the president or the governor, or it's to the Constitution of the United States. So, but the reason for that delay is the Constitution was what, 1817? Well, I don't know, 17. It wasn't 1776. I don't think the Constitution. We had our Declaration of Independence and everything, and I think it was actually the Constitution. Part of it was written and but it wasn't all adopted. It was, so it's a little bit, a few years later. We don't really realize that stuff. But the reason for the thing was because there wasn't any telegraph then. There was, to get word from California, which was not a state at that time, but it took time. I mean, it would be, but what we need to do is just change the system. So, okay, the new president and vice president are elected, in November, and then even if it's November 20th or whatever it is, take office, December 1st or something, instead of January 20th. Whatever would, you wouldn't want to have somebody like this, like Trump, who's, if you changed it to that, you'd have to figure this type of stuff out. You wouldn't want to have it, so if you had it set up with something like that, then, then Trump might just say, the election takes place, and he just might say, well, I'm walking out the door now, and then, you'd have to have Secret Service would have to rush it. Well, they'd already have, to protect the, So you'd have to figure these things out to make sure. But we've seen what chaos, can be committed by, I don't think, well, actually they say, I saw some experts, historians or whatever, talking about the founding fathers actually in their writings and communications with each other, like on presidential pardons and stuff, they actually anticipated, well, what if the president decides to, commit some crimes and then pardon himself, and then so the founding fathers that we admire so much, exchanged, communications and had meetings with each other and that type of stuff. And no, that would, that would never happen. And then plus they were saying, I forget, Congress wouldn't stand for that, and he would be impeached, and this type of, so that we don't need to change but some of the founding fathers thought, yeah, we do need to change and they had some proposals, So this is an opportunity to think about all of the things and try to pass some things, but I don't see it happening because we're so divided. And is it 2 or 3 elections, recent ones, it's at least 2, where the Republican presidential candidate did not get the majority of popular votes, but won because of the Electoral College. And so the Republicans are not going to want to change that at all. But of course, what you could do is, if that was the problem, it was just, well, we win, and then some of these people think that, well, we may win the next election that way. Or, of course, you would still do it the way I want to do it. You would still go by the electoral votes, the number, because that's set up to make sure that the little states have, otherwise you're going to have, which is actually happens now. You have the presidential candidates just, okay, okay, I'm not going to get Florida, the Democrats, like, I'm not going to get Florida's votes. So, well, they don't skip it, but, they do sort of, It's like they're flying around the country, flying past Kansas and Oklahoma and places like that, and not landing and going to California or going to the places where, so it wouldn't be much of a change in that regard. But so you could still go by if they go by the electoral numbers, but that would be determined as soon as the election was, certified and everything. That would be taken care of. You just go by. You wouldn't have to say, okay, well, we have to wait 3 weeks until each of the states calls together the electoral people who are the ones who stood in for the thing, and then doing each vote in each of the 50 states, and then, okay, it's, you'd cut that crap out. As soon as the vote was, whatever the vote was, okay, Missouri gets 18 votes, or however, but let the states could also do that, of course, if they want to. Not a problem with that. If the state wants to say, let's take Texas. I don't know how many electoral votes they have, but say Texas says, okay, whoever gets the presidential candidate who gets the majority of votes in the state of Texas gets all the votes, all the electoral votes, or electoral numbers. Or they could say, which some states do, okay, let's say they have 30 votes or 30 electoral votes. I don't know how many the states have. I know California has a lot, New York has a lot, Florida has a lot. Let's say the state decides and puts in their constitution. When the vote is taken, it'll be divided up between the probably two candidates. Could be more, but it'll be divided up by percentage. If one candidate wins all the votes in the state, he gets all 30 of the votes. If he gets 1/3 of the votes, in the state, he gets 10 of the votes, and the other candidate gets 20. It can be done that would be the way, to do it. So there are ways to do these things, and I'm sure there have been study groups, experts, smart people who have sat down on all of these subjects and figured these things out. There's no reason that we need to have the election in November and then have to wait till January 20th. And then we have this problem here. He's already been, he's been firing people from different positions. And, of course, all of his appointees, all of his, cabinet and all those people are going to be replaced by the Democrats. But he's firing people from, kicking people out from the Department of Defense and different things. Those people can be rehired. But I mean, there's this big stimulus package, and I don't think that Trump's going to veto it, but there's a big stimulus package. I just made a video the other day talking about how desperate it was for some people that they needed the stimulus money, and the people who are unemployed and getting unemployment insurance, they need the continuation of that $300, a week and stuff like that. So everybody is, I think, very happy right now. Okay, they passed this finally. The Democrats, Republicans got together. They passed this stimulus program. There's a couple more things that, when the new president takes office, there's some things they'll need to come back to, but they're getting out the $600 to everybody. Not every, if you make, if you don't make too much, that type of stuff. But Trump could just vindictively say, fuck you. New York State didn't vote for me, and California didn't vote for me, so I'm just going to veto the entire, veto it. And I don't think he'd do that because he's smart. Well, he's not smart enough. He is not smart at all. That's the problem. He has mental problems, and I'm not going to go through that. I've made some videos, and if you heard me talk about, I actually worked for. I didn't realize it until I saw these things talking about the type of personality that Donald Trump is, and then I've explained to you in detail. If you probably tuned out before because got tired of hearing about it, but I realized that back in the 1970s, I worked for a guy who had the very same problems. I liked that guy. Well, some things he did drove me crazy, like lying about everything. It was like, why does he lie about everything? And then constantly telling everybody how important he was. That just went against my grain and stuff like that. But I didn't know that it was a mental problem. I just couldn't understand why he did that. As an example, every 2 or 3, I don't think I mentioned this before, every 2 or 3 months we had a departmental meeting. And usually what it was, almost always, is he would say, okay, here's what I've talked to administration, and they're going to put in, these doors that and things that work, and we'll be just wearing, all employees wear a card, but security, have our card, and any door, we just walk up to the door, and the door automatically opens up and, lets us in because we're coded to get in, but if you're somebody else and you don't allow to, get in that. And he spent like 2 hours running over all this stuff that he never, I worked for him 5.5 years, he never got any of that stuff. I don't think the hospital ever got any of that type of stuff. And there were just other things that he did that just didn't make sense. And then recently, with the last 4 years with Donald Trump, I've seen some experts talking about the personality disorder that he has. And I saw a YouTube video. I was watching a YouTube video. If I could remember, I'd put the link below. But the guy, an expert, I forget if he's a psychologist or a doctor or what, I can't remember what he was, but he said, if you work for somebody like this, it's going to be difficult, but here's what you have to, and I was like, oh my God, I didn't know I was working for them. And if I'd have known what this guy was, not supposed to rub your eyes during this pandemic, are you? I would have just went ahead and quit then, because I would have realized there's no way. But what I'm thinking about is, there's some way. There isn't. We just, it'd be nice if we had more than two parties, maybe, but we got to depend on. That's something the Republicans, they need to step up. And, don't pick somebody who's, got these kind of problems. I mean, the fact that he would not show his tax returns, the Republicans should have just, sorry, and gone with somebody else. And there should be some other things that, of course, I realize that's a difficult, the Constitution of the United States says I think you have to be 35 years of age and a natural born citizen of the United States. That's it. And I don't know if you should try to change the Constitution and say you have to, because there again, it wouldn't pass because the Republicans would say, and who knows, if you put in there, you have to show your tax in the Constitution, you have to show your tax return, or whatever. Who knows, in 40 years or whatever, maybe none of us will be paying taxes. People go, what are tax, what's this thing about taxes that the president has to show? Maybe the United States will be somehow set up and the United States makes money, and maybe the United States would be sending money out to people and not taking money in, if we, so I don't know, there's all types of possibilities, and I've talked too long. Thank you very much for watching. Now I gotta put all this away. I'm gonna put it right back where it was. Thank you very much for watching.